law enforcement is one of our primary responsibilities is public safety. And to be down 17 is something in my career that we have never, ever faced before. And so I intend to support this on the understanding that we're going to have to make some tough choices in coming years when we start shifting our focus where it should be on public safety. But I'm going to ask a question and make a comment. Make the comment and I'll ask the question, and then I'll let everybody else chime in if they wish. This is the second vote I'm being asked to take where localities are being asked to step in and take on a responsibility that rightfully in part belongs with the state and their support for law enforcement, and more specifically the sheriff's department. Again, I think we have a great sheriff's department. I support the guys and everything else. But the fact of the matter is the state consistently does not meet their obligations to localities in these areas. And we are again being asked to pick up the slack. Last week, it was on transportation-related issues, where basically the state agreed to set up a fund for transportation, but took our gas tax money to fund it. So now, instead of us being able to decide what to do with our gas tax money, the state has now pretty much decided how it's going to be spent for us. And for a project that is great, and we need to do it, but again, it's the state coming in to local dollars and using for their projects, and or in this case, not meeting their obligations to localities. I'm going to support this because I think it's very important that we do it, and we are kind of in a tight spot here, and we need to move forward with this because we need, as everybody in the community has told us over the recent months, we need to have a highly professional, well-trained police department, and you're not going to get that unless you have the people who receive the compensation for, frankly, a job that is very, very, very difficult to do.
Councilor Graham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thank you, Chief Layton, for being here tonight. About 5 months ago now, it's back in July, I got to meet with every platoon at the police department at their roll call, and the issue of compensation, both direct salary and insurance, particularly after retirement, was one of the issues that came up every single session. And I strongly support this, and I'm very appreciative that in the resolution, there's going to be a further resolution to work on the insurance issue more. I know that's more of a long-term goal, but it's something that we need to strive for because, as Councilor Kelly said, these folks deserve it. The job's not easy, and we need to be able to provide the best that we can for those who help keep us safe. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Fry.
Thank you, Mayor Greenlaw. And I would like to say this, from interacting with law enforcement here in the city over the years, even with, the guys being undercompensated, the officers that we have and are the officers that chose to be here, and they chose to stay here. And I want to give them a big shout out, for sticking with the city. It's huge, seeing a lot that goes on and what the officers deal with. And I will add that even during the last X amount of months, in my travels, every time I've seen an officer interacting, especially under some type of intense situation, during COVID, a lot of times those intense situations involved others not even having masks on. And that's, to see it is like, wow, because, the first responders are there and whatever's going on is going on regardless, and they're still doing their job, and they're putting themselves in a whole nother category. Because if you're in a group or a crowd and this is going on and you still have to go home to your kids and family and all of that. So that's huge. So I want to say to our guys here, thank y'all for sticking, with us. And I think there's a standard here in the city, and if officers, on the real, if they don't want to be here, then they will leave. You know, and it's shown and proved that they will. But there's a lot of guys that want to be. Everybody that's here wants to be here, because everybody knows that, you know, folks have been running up north to go get more money. Now, even, you know, right around the corner, you know, there's more money out there. So, if for the public, if you look at what is spent on training, and how long it takes for an officer to get on the street, to serve you with your tax dollars, and then if that officer kind of uses us as a stepping stone just to get, you know, up north to go get more money, a few more $1,000s or whatever it is, we end up losing all the investment that we put into this officer. We lose it all, and then we turn around and do it all over again. So, you know, whatever we can do to keep our guys here, they're proving that they want to be here, then we need to do it. And Mr. Whitley, thank you for the numbers. And it's almost like, I'm not going to overdo it, but almost like ask you how much you think we're saving by doing this. But I'm not going to ask you, you know, because the money that we I just said it, we're training and we're doing everything. And if the guys leave us, all that money is a loss. So why not reinvest into the guys that we have and keep them here? And we won't have to worry about, you know, losing guys. And like I say, shout out to everybody that wants to be in the city. Thank you, Mayor Greenlaw.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Fry. I also attended roll call at some point last summer. And I will tell you that our officers are dedicated to the city. They love the city. They would like to be here. But they've got families and they've got futures and they've got retirement to think about. And definitely the brain drain of losing our experienced and highly trained, because our officers are so highly trained, so well trained, is huge. So I'll echo what you said, Mr. Fry. And I see Chief Layton nodding his head. That's the tragedy, is that, number one, these folks would like to be here, would prefer to be here, and number two, we've trained them, and invested in these people. Kudos to anyone serving as a police officer today to begin with. But I can tell you it's an honorable profession with lots of additional education that comes along with it. So if you're listening out there and you're looking for a job, give it serious consideration. I saw another hand. Ms. Devine.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have a lot to add other than my thanks to the dedication of our police department. It is no secret that, you know, police, fire, teachers are overworked and underpaid. And that is almost across the board in every community in our country. I do appreciate the efforts that we're making to compensate, not just in salary, but in retirement and other ways. And this has been an incredibly tough year to be in the police profession, the law enforcement profession. I would just like to, and I don't think Vice Mayor Fry meant it as, but, you know, referring to guys. Remember, there are more than guys on our police force. We have a fairly diverse police force. We're always aiming for a little more diversity in both gender and ethnicity. But one of the things I know that the officers appreciate and that I think our community appreciates is, you know, we make efforts towards community policing, but truly we are a community police force in total. That even though we have officers assigned to very specific areas, we're a small enough community that the officers do get to know the businesses and the residents, and people get to know our officers. And that's, you know, that's very important to me. And I know it's very important to our community. So just a thank you, a broad thank you to all the work that goes into law enforcement. And I am happy to support this.
Mr. Withers?
Madam Mayor, I won't add a lot to that. I think everyone has expressed it. I just want the police department to know that I'm in full support of them and this pay raise and future benefits, and just let them know that I appreciate their service very much. So, thank you, Chief. Thank you, officers, and your regular staff, and the people that do take phone calls. Thank you, Chief.
Dr. Duffy?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo what my colleagues here have said. We do live in extraordinary times when it comes to policing in America. At the same time that the state has developed some reforms, some adopted reforms that are important. The work that we expect and need out of our police force is more important than ever. And I can say in the work that I do with police officers, working with young people, and at events in schools, I just have come to expect the best from them and gotten it. And it's been inspiring to see the way they deal with people. And I'm grateful for their service to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. We need a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'll move the motion.
Second.